Welcome back to the channel, The Real Ish. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Unknown Number, the High School Catfish. So, it's a documentary on Netflix that I watched last week. This documentary is only on Netflix. It dropped August 29th. I saw it last week, so this is still, fairly new in the minds of everybody. So I wanted to share my thoughts on it. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So this is like an overview for people who want to see it, who haven't saw it. The documentary details shocking cyberbullying case in small Michigan town where a teenager and her boyfriend received increasingly cruel and threatening texts over nearly 2 years. 2 years. The documentary focuses on Lauren Licari and her then boyfriend Owen McKinney, who began receiving harassing messages when they were only 13 years old. The escalating harassment, anonymous text messages started in 2020 and grew more vicious over time, with some messages urging that Lauren to take her own life, to unalive herself. And a lot of these messages really seemed like they were upset that Lauren was dating this Owen guy. So that's what it seemed like to me, like they wanted them to break up. Failed investigation, the harassment cast suspicion on classmates and led to a wider investigation involving parents and school officials and even the FBI. They got everybody involved. His mom, Owen, and her mom, Lauren, they were like going to the school, trying to get the principal and the superintendent and them to do more. It's like, what can they really do? They tried to say they wanted to check the kids' phones and stuff. Like, you can't do that. At the school, they're not allowed to do that. But I feel like the school did as much as they could. They tried to watch people in the halls with cameras and, see who's on their phone, yada, yada, yada. It says the film includes body cam footage of law enforcement confronting different people. They thought it was Owen's cousin at one point. They thought it was this, this girl he was friends with. I forgot her name. They just thought it was everybody. They looked at any and everybody who they thought had a problem with him and her and them dating. Well, that's really an overview of what, because I can't sit here and tell you verbatim like what it's about. That's basically what it's about. And then they had an investigation. The cops, like I said, will go try to talk to different people, try to see who it was. And this went on for years. And like I said, it seemed like this person wanted them to break up. All the messages really seemed like they were aimed towards this Lauren girl. Like, they hated her more than him. They said things to him, but mainly it was about her. Calling her anorexic, calling her names, calling her out her name. A lot of the things that were said in these messages to these kids, like, I can't even say it. I can't even show the messages if I were to find some of them. I was trying to find some of the text messages, but I can't really find. I found some of them. I'll put it on the screen. Some of these messages, like, it's crazy. As you can see, these are some of what the messages were. I was able to find a few of them, but still not. It's nowhere near touching as many as there were. And you see, as this girl Lauren's talking, you see how this affects her, like, in her self-esteem. You see how it affects this guy, Owen. It affects their relationship. They eventually break up, but the messages don't stop. They keep coming. And it's like, okay, watching it, you're thinking, okay, I thought that they wanted them to break up. They did. And then they still coming at her, torturing her. So that's why I was like, it seemed like it was really aimed towards her. And that's when, like, it kind of shifted for me. Because at first, like I said, I thought it was going to be a teacher, or, you think it's going to be another student at first. But then it shifted, and my friend was like, watch it be someone's mom. And lo and behold, it was someone's mom. This is a spoiler if you haven't seen it. But the person doing this was Lauren's mother. Her own mother. And she's sitting on there talking during this documentary in the beginning as if she had no part in it. That's the way they made it seem. You know, when you see the documentary, her mom's on there talking, discussing this, about these messages, like she was into trying to figure out who was doing this when it was her all along. Yeah, her mother, Kendra Lakari, is one who cyberbullied her own daughter and her boyfriend. It's just crazy how it was the mother, and she claims that she did it for complex and still not fully clear reasons. Kendra and the documentary's director, Sky Borgman, acknowledged there is no single simple explanation for her cruel action. She tried to blame it on her past, the mother. She tried to, when asked why she did it, she tried to pin it on her past and how she has trauma. And I'm not knocking that she may have trauma, but this mom is such a pathological liar that I feel like who knows is what's true. But I don't know. But they found out it was the mom because when they hired someone from the FBI, something about the mom's number kept being the only thing that came up. So that's how they found out it was the mom. But she tried to put it on her trauma that she was assaulted at the age of 17. And as her daughter approached the same age, Kendra claimed to have a fear of letting her grow up. She explained that she wanted to control her daughter to protect her and keep her close. So it was also like some type of, tactic to keep her close. She sent these messages out so the daughter could come to her and say, be sad, and she wanted her to be, I don't get it. Like, it just, very manipulative. It says her desire to feel needed. Some close to Kendra believe she enjoyed being the center of attention. That's something her cousin stated on the documentary. That she wanted to feel necessary to her daughter. She created a dangerous situation. She could then confront Lauren and act as her protector, making herself essential in her daughter's life. It says Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Several individuals, including school officials, speculated that Kendra's actions were a form of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where a person creates or exaggerates an illness or trauma to gain sympathy for attention. While the director, Borgman, has cautioned against giving it a formal medical label, she acknowledges that the elements about Munchausen and by proxy were present. Financial deception. The documentary reveals that Kendra lied to her family about being employed after she was fired from her job. The financial and marital stress that resulted from her deception is thought to have contributed to her downward spiral. It's plenty of people that have trauma in the past that's going through financial ups and downs, who's lost their job, who lost loved ones, who's lost everything, and they don't do this to their children. When asked directly, Kendra herself seemed unable to fully explain her motives and admitted that once she started sending the malicious messages, she didn't know how to stop. The director confirmed that she doesn't believe Kendra ever fully processed or understood why she did it. I think she knows exactly why she did it. I think she knows why she did it. She was in competition with her daughter. I believe that she wanted to be the things that her daughter was at this age. Her daughter is very athletic. She has friends. She had a boyfriend. Although they said the daughter wasn't that like outgoing, which you don't have to be to have friends. So I feel like the mother, when she was that age, was probably the total opposite. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just don't understand how you can do this to your daughter. And one of the things that I believe that she did it because she was obsessed with the boy Owen. She had a weird obsession with the boy Owen, and what the documentary failed to really cover, which I was disappointed in, was the very inappropriate messages that she sent this, not only to her daughter but to this boy. They were very sexually explicit messages that I find if a man were to have sent to a young girl would have been total opposite. He wouldn't even be able to be on the documentary speaking about it because he would still be in jail. You get what I'm saying? She had an obsession with the boyfriend. This is why she wanted her own daughter to break up with this boy. This is why. When she got arrested, which I didn't catch till someone said it, but she sure did. When she got arrested and she was giving her statement in court, you know, trying to be the victim, trying to not get so much time, she apologized to the boy Owen before she even apologized to her own daughter. Her daughter got the last apology. So what does that tell you? She doesn't care about anything or anyone but herself. For anyone that's making excuses for her, you need to check what's going on up here, because what I saw was an act. It was an act. The mom was acting. She was acting as if she really didn't do anything wrong. She tried to compare what she did to people that drive drunk, which obviously is a bad thing. But someone driving drunk versus you sending your daughter messages to her and her boyfriend and about her unaliving herself, like, that doesn't even equal. She tried to say, we all do bad things. We've all done bad things. We're all bad people at some point in life, but that doesn't make me a bad person because of these things I've done in my past. You can't always hold people accountable for things they've done in their past and keep bringing it up, but this is something totally different. I could have been a different person in my past. I could have been a mean person, but I could be a changed person now. So you can't hold it against me how I used to treat people, because now when you talk to people, they would say, yes, she is a great person. So that's not the same as someone out here that is being vicious to their own children and to other children. These kids were 13 years old when these messages started, and you were sending sexually explicit messages to this young boy about any and everything, about things I can't even say on YouTube. Go watch it yourself. The messages were nasty, coming from a grown woman. Nasty, disgusting. So there's no excuse for that. No excuse. The only people that had the appropriate reaction to her behavior was the boyfriend, his mother, the other people's daughter, and like parents, and the girl Lauren, her dad. Those are the only people. Everybody else was like sweeping it under the rug like it wasn't a big deal. Even the daughter, she forgives this mother. Yes, we forgive people that do us wrong, but that doesn't mean you have to be around this person. There's plenty of people that done me wrong. I may have done some people wrong. You forgive people and move on. I forgive people, but that doesn't mean I have to be around them. Trust me. Once you cross that line, I don't go back there with you. So it's confusing and very alarming that the daughter would forgive her mother for not forgive her, but be in contact, like try to communicate with her while she was in jail when she's done this thing to her. Something's wrong. She just nasty, period. She should be registered as a offender. That's what she should be registered as. She should have done more time than what she did. Yeah, so it was the mom, and I wonder what's going on in the daughter's head. Like, is everything okay? I'm not trying to be funny, but when the cop was telling her what the mom did and it was her, like, she had no reaction. The only reaction she had was when her father was upset with the mother and told her she had to leave. This when she started crying. She was communicating with her mother while she was in jail. I don't get it. I don't really understand. Even the mom's cousin said that she's manipulative, and she is, and she said that you can't get from under this mom's manipulation as long as you're still communicating with her. And that's with anybody that manipulating people. As long as you're gonna talk to this person, you're still gonna be under that spell, under that manipulation. That's just it. So this thing was really crazy. It was really one of those where you watch it and then you be like really kind of annoyed and upset after, because it just doesn't make any sense. It was very disturbing. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about it, but I wanted to wait till after I saw it and give it a little week or so. People still talking about it, but That's my opinion. It's insane. Like, who does that? So, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you see it. If you're a parent, I suggest you see it. I'm not a parent, but I suggest you see it, you know, if you have teenagers. Just anybody watch it, because this can happen to anybody. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think it's very insane and unfortunate, and I don't think that the mom, Kendra, has any contact. Like, she can't physically see Lauren. I think it would have been like a year or so, and hopefully it stays like that. So that's something that you will never really be able to get over. Time will heal it, but you will never forget it. You'll never get over it. No matter how much you try to act like she's okay with the mom, she'll never get over that. So I suggest you check it out. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. Unknown Number, the High School Catfish documentary on Netflix. Alright? So that's it for this one. I will see you guys in my next video. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below if you've seen this. And as always, God bless.